Welcome to the CEO Card Show. I'm your host and coach, Rebecca Nesbitt, and this is a continuation of our series, taking you from overworked to in alignment. This is our final installment, the final part, and this conversation is really for you if you are doing all the time and not getting anywhere, or you beat yourself up for never doing the right things. Today, we're talking about healing the masculine, which feels like a really controversial topic, but we're going to go there because this is genuinely how I went through this process and what really took me from overworking to feeling in alignment. I spend much less time doing all the things and much more time being intentional. So, first off, what is masculine and feminine? I think that this can get very murky in the waters. So let's just try and explain it as simply as possible. So this is not man versus woman. This is just names given to certain energy that has certain characteristics. So in very simple terms, masculine is seen as this directional doing energy, and feminine is seen as this inflow and being energy. So many programs that you may have seen, because you may have the same afflictions that I used to, programs for high achieving, high performing, or burned out entrepreneurs focus on this concept of healing your feminine energy. Your feminine energy is the problem. Very few, I've actually not seen any, but I'm saying very few because I imagine they must exist, focus on the masculine, as they all claim that you have no problem in the doing, right? And that's why they're like, it's about rest and flow and dance. And all of those things are beautiful. All of those things actually elicit life force energy and prana and are really, really important too. They're important pieces of the puzzle, but no one's addressing this masculine energy. And nuance is so important here because the masculine energy is now seen to be just doing all the things, doing, never resting, always working. And nuance is so important because divine masculine is a space of deep service and intention. It's not doing all the things all the time. So if it feels like you're doing all the things all the time, everything is dependent on you. Maybe you're the independent woman, and I totally understand. I'm so independent. Ask my husband. I'm so independent, so I understand this. And I would never have suspected that actually the problem lay in my masculine energy and not in my feminine energy. I was able to do all of the practices to bring in that feminine energy and that flow and that magnetism and manifestation and attraction and all the beautiful things that they'll say in marketing to get you to buy those programs because 100% it works. But no one told me about like the missing piece. No one told me like, hey, actually, if you're doing all the things, but it's not actually directional, because we see doing all the things as being in the right direction, but actually if we want something to work and we want to grow something, then we have to really focus in. We have to be really conscious of what are we spending our time on, right? So here are a few of the things I did to heal my masculine. Because if this is talking to you, then all you want to know is how did you do it? You probably don't care so much about like the behind the scenes and the energetics. If you do, DM me. I'm 100% here for that conversation. But you're probably just asking like, how the heck do I heal this masculine energy and actually get the stuff that I want to get done? How do I stop avoiding and ignoring and pushing other things away and doing things that don't really matter? Because that's certainly the trap that I fell into. Is I was doing a lot of things that just like weren't with intention. They weren't smart. And I'm not saying you're not smart. I'm saying I wasn't smart. I just wasn't doing things in a way where I was setting them up for my life to be easy and for my business to be functioning well and streamlined. So, interestingly, on the streamlining, the first thing I did was I chose what was important to me and to my clients when it came to business. I streamlined a lot. And that's not to say I stopped doing a bunch of things. I actually didn't stop doing very many things. I stopped doing fluffy things. I stopped doing so much like random research or like scrolling on my phone because I was like, these are the intentional things I want to get done. I literally live and die by my Todoist app. And I've told everyone this before, but I genuinely think this has been the one thing that saved me. And it has really helped because that is my first focus of the day is like get to this app and understand what is important today. What have I got on today? What do I need to prioritize today? And then make it happen. And it's not too much so that I'm working way past my time. I already knew I was going to work later today. Ironically, I wasn't even planning to do these today. And here we are. But I know that I will be finished by absolute maximum 6:30. I'm going to step away. And it has been a full on day. And also, I had to take a chunk out the middle of my day because they turned off my Starlink. So it has been a day, my friends. But I know that I do not work past my time and that everything will be complete. Everything was actually done by like 1 p.m. Wild. So I focused on what was important to me, to my clients, and I streamlined a lot of things to make that my main focuses of the day and to start my day with knowing what was coming up and also taking a lot of shit out my schedule. A bunch of calls that I didn't need to go to, all of these calls that I was going to learn and never really learned anything. I just took them out. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is not helping me. I don't need to take in more. I need to listen. So I need to actually take a lot of these things out. If you're watching this on the video, even Zoom agrees. So I took out a lot of things, I streamlined a lot of things. The second thing I did was I got really clear on my team, who did what was working well, what was not working well, putting in things that worked really well for me. So getting my team into Todoist was huge for me. My team are like on board. They're like, we will do what you ask. And I was like, cool, I want to be in this app. This will be very helpful and we'll be able to connect in real time. We could be on WhatsApp, we could be in emails, all the things, but I thought this is where I do my best work. So bring the team in here. So I did that. And also, some of those conversations are like still ongoing even now. We're trying to get very clear on what is working well, what is not, what was working and is now not, and how are we bridging the gap? How are we bringing back in what's working? And those conversations take time. So don't think this is a one and done and it will be like a 2-second fix. These are things that happen over time for you to figure out, like, hey, this is actually how we can work better together. This is how we can get a better service because we use freelancers. This is how we get a better service and we value you even more. So getting so clear on the support that you have, whether you have a team or not. Maybe you have a team and you're thinking about this and you're thinking, yep, I need to be like more of the leader. Cool, your masculine energy is there for that. That is the masculine. So you want to be just super focused there. Heal this masculine energy, streamline yourself down. And the next thing is going to be super key to that. And if you don't have a team, it might be your support system. It might be your mom that picks up the kids after school. It might be your partner that helps you with your emails sometimes, whatever it might be. It's a case of, okay, who is on my team? Who is my support network? Who helps me? And can I make that a little bit more almost formal instead of feeling like I always ask my mom to pick up the kids and she always does it? It's like this unspoken contract. Say, thank you so much. You've been doing this for 6 months. I really appreciate you. I bought you these flowers. I was hoping to just ask you if you could do it for the next 6 months while I build this business, whatever it might be. And she can say yes or no, but go back to the last conversation we had on overcoming fear. If that's giving you the fear, you got this. And after you have taken care of your work, because the thing is the entrepreneurs, we come to these podcasts because we want to hear all about the business stuff. So I started with that. Once you have streamlined what is important to you, what's important to your clients, then you have disseminated that information, gifted that information to your team, your support team, wherever they may be. Then what I did is I also dedicated to my personal practices as deeply as my business. I put them on my Todoist, again with the Todoist, I know. And like to the point where I have cacao every single day. I love cacao. It is divine. I know that it is such a special plant medicine for many people. And I feel very fortunate to be able to invest in that. So I have cacao every day and it's a part of my ritual, you may say. Sometimes it's at different times of the day, but I am so intentional with my masculine energy to the point where I will make sure that there is the appropriate percentage of masculine energy, aka water, to milk, which is the feminine. This is represented in cacao. Sometimes if I need a little more masculine, I'll put a little more water in Genuinely, I'm so conscious of like, what do I need this day that I am looking at percentages of water. Maybe you're feeling like that's a little bit much, but it's intention. And that serves me because that's part of my deep service to myself. So I'm not saying that you have to go and get the measuring jugs out for your cacao and or even drink cacao in the first place. But what I am saying is that I have such dedication to those personal practices. My personal practices, should you want to know what they are, and I think this should be individual for you. I do not believe in like miracle mornings, no offense, Hal. I do not believe in like someone else telling you what to do and what you should do with your mornings and how they should look and all the things you should do in a day. I think you have to decide that yourself. But people always ask. So if you're interested, my rituals are getting outside, so important. Some form of meditation, that can be a movement meditation, or it can be an actual meditation. It can be chanting, that also works. It can also be singing. I count singing as a meditation if I'm like deep in it. And my cacao, 100%. Oh my gosh, I love that cacao. The cacao with, I love some like anima mundi, happiness sprinkled in, the mind sprinkled in. I put some rose powder in, a little honey because I'm like healing some allergies. Mm, so good. They all have their own meanings, obviously, because like fueled with intention. So I love those are my like 3 and 4. I technically could say journaling. I'm trying to make journaling one. I want to get better at it. I've started taking my journal into nature, which is helping. But I mean, journaling sometimes, okay? Like, ain't nobody perfect. But those 3 things before that, absolutely so important to me. So important to me to the point where it's almost like a call that's scheduled with a client that's paying you. Okay. Is how dedicated I am to those particular practices for myself. And that is the masculine energy. It is being of deep, deep service and being so intentional about the direction in which you're going. It's not just doing everything. If it was just doing everything, then they would be right. The feminine healer people that are like, you don't have a problem, you're masculine. But actually, this version of the masculine is what truly healed me. So I hope that it helps you. And I hope this different perspective and slant on things and gifting you this idea of like more intention is helpful, because what would your business look like if things came from this place of intention and deep service and wanting to help people and wanting to help them in such a specific way? And I know that sometimes that can feel like confining, because that is a little bit of the masculine energy, feels like if it's directional, it's confined. But you're basing it off of like what is truly important to you. What is important to you when it comes to your business? What's important to you when it comes to your personal practice, and infusing your life with that. So, like I said, I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you recognize your own personal importance and that it's important to you to act in accordance with the things that you actually want in your life and the person that you actually want to be and show up as, not as the person that's caught in the scroll, not as the person that's doing a million things and just never feels like they have time for themselves, for their self-care, for their family. I remember being that person who didn't, I make as much time as I can for my partner. I want to hang out with him all the time. And I remember for a period of 6 months not being that person, being the person that got to bed late, being the person that ate at my desk. And it's not who I want to be. It's not who I set out to be. And it wasn't intentional. Now we are deeply intentional and we are clocking off, my friends. So, if this conversation has felt like a vibe to you, I do recommend that you come along and join us at our next CEO Crowd networking event. We host them every Monday, but don't take them as to mean, they're every Monday, so come whenever. Literally come as soon as you can, because we must meet you. And if you are looking for a space where we actually give you the mic to promote your business, as well as we want to hear about you, we want to learn about you, we want to know you, we want to know if you're a great referral partner so that we can refer business to you, then You can share your thoughts on topics like this, and we can get to know you even better. And that's also what we create in those spaces. So be ready to take the mic, my friend. And you definitely have the courage to come and hang with us because we'd love to meet you. Do not sit on this and think, oh, she doesn't really mean it. Like, I really mean it. I really mean it. So we'd love to see you there. And until we see you there, or until next week, we'll be over here believing in you.